Welcome to Tales from the Tips. If you're catching us on YouTube, make sure you give us a like and hit that subscribe button. You can find Tales from the Tips where you find your favorite podcasts, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and of course, you can get us on the Odyssey app. Just head to the Google Play or iTunes store and download Tales from the Tips. I'm DA, along with 15-year tour caddy Mick Middlemo. We are just a couple of guys that love to talk about the game of golf inside and outside the ropes, but we come at it from a completely different perspective. You ready, buddy?
I'm ready, buddy. We're on the road.
Is Leo ready?
Like
That's the question. We're out on the road.
Leo keeps walking around. He's got
Leo's out. He's worried. All right, let's grip it and rip it.
How do I know where this is going so quickly?
So here we go. Episode 10. We made the turn. We have made the turn. And on the 10th. So by now, hopefully, you guys have been able to check out episodes 1 through 9. We've uploaded, I should say, the front 9. But since the last time we recorded, Mick decided to give us a little bit of a scare.
Mick's good.
Are you good?
I'm good now.
So, okay.
Yep.
I'm going to let you tell our listening audience what happened.
You want the edited version, the short version, or
I want the version that everybody that cares about you needs to know.
I had a little minor stroke.
Okay. So we're getting ready to tee off for the Passion Foundation Golf Tournament
here in Bears Bay.
Which in episode 9 we talk about the exponential cheating that goes on in this golf tournament,
and which there will be today.
And you're already adding a stroke to our score.
Correct.
Fantastic.
See, I should be able to move forward on a tee today because I'm like.
Oh, now you want to play the senior tees?
Yeah. Well, I'm nearly 60. How old do you have to be?
I don't know.
I have to talk to the pro.
Yeah, we should talk to the pro shop.
No, I did. I had a little health scare. I was at work, my other job as a bar manager, and had a little turn. I had a little passing out action. Nearly passed out. One of my staff members caught me, so they sat me in the office. And as usual, I'm like, yeah, everything's going to be fine. I'll be okay. I'll go back to work in a minute. And then it just didn't get any better. So I remember someone actually asking me a question and not being able to answer it, which is really weird because I like to talk.
You do like to talk.
I do like to talk, and so
that's the podcast.
Yeah. So literally, I was like trying to get the words out of my mouth, and I couldn't speak. I knew what I wanted to say, but I couldn't get the words out. So I was like dizzy and not feeling great. So they just whipped me off to hospital up there in Jasper, and I spent 3 nights there.
Do you want to thank the staff at the hospital?
The staff at the Piedmont Hospital up there in Jasper were wonderful.
So thank you to the folks at Piedmont Hospital in Jasper, Georgia, for saving Mick,
keeping me alive.
There we go.
But it was a little scary. But I mean, I've had every test known to man now. I mean, every heart test, every MRI. Which the MRI freaked me out. I did not like the MRI one little bit. That freaked me out. Like it's like the head thing, and it's just like being in this little like claustrophobic. Yeah, where they put this like mask on you like Iron Man, and you can just see like the white there in front of you. It was just really weird. But they gave me a button to like if I was going to panic to get out, and I wanted to push it like 10 times because it was I wasn't thrilled with that one.
What the big guy is a little afraid of the little
don't put me in caves or anything like that because it ain't happening.
Got it.
Because there's
spiders,
you're good. And I don't like spiders either. So no, I'm good. I'm good now. Everything was fine. I've had a couple follow-ups, but yeah, everything's good. So right. I guess the good thing about it is they did every other test to me. So my heart is in great shape. Everything's good. My liver and kidneys are fantastic.
That's a surprise.
Yeah, okay. Coming from you last night at Halloween, yeah. Honestly, I feel great.
We'll get into we'll discuss. We could discuss Halloween shenanigans later on if you want, but
later on. But I feel great.
But today, as we're recording this podcast, we're out here for the Passion Foundation.
Yeah, wonderful foundation.
You know, we're helping our buddy John out. Mm-hmm. Team Terra. We're on Team Terra.
Yep.
Today's episode, obviously, though, is about something much closer to you. Mm-hmm. And you've said this since we launched this podcast that you wanted to do this episode.
Yeah, I did. This is an important one for me.
So before we get into it, just quick update on where we're at in the NFL standings. Now, we're going to pause this thing for a little bit on some of these podcasts because really this is going to come down to a matter of 4 different teams. Mm-hmm. Right now, I'm just going to give you a quick update.
I know I'm leading.
Well, it's because you finally saw a show sheet. You actually read a show sheet for once.
You probably sent it to me the way.
I'm at
Not very
34,
good- not very
34
good
and
with
26,
technology.
and you're at 36 and 25.
Oh, I'm dominating.
You've also had more bye weeks, so you actually have a 1.5 game lead.
That's all you need.
That's all you need.
That's all you need at the end.
You do know this is going to come down to 4 teams.
Yep.
Okay. I'm not very confident about the team that I'm got coming in, but you should be a little bit less confident about one of your teams as well.
Which one?
Green Bay.
Yeah. Your
things have changed.
Your Lions are looking good.
Well, we'll leave it where it's at. The Lions are looking good, but we'll get there. We're just going to suspend this kind of conversation for a couple more weeks.
Okay. Done.
All right. So as we've talked, Jarrod Lyle.
Yep.
I know close mate of yours.
Very much so.
You carried for him. Before we get into everything about Jarrod, and obviously I want you to tell our listening audience exactly your relationship with him, but how did it come? How did you guys ever get together? Because that's the one thing that you and I have never talked about.
Have not.
You've ran through your laundry list of tour players that you've run onto the couch.
Yeah, there's a few of them.
But you've never talked about your relationship or how you and Jarrod got together.
I first met Jarrod in Thailand. I knew, obviously, I was living over here and working over here, and he was an up-and-coming golfer, and I knew of him, and I knew his family very well, and I knew the story of the leukemia, and obviously working with Robert Allenby at the time. Robert was great for Jarrod. They were great friends. I met him in a bar. Funny enough, I met him in a bar in Thailand.
There's a surprise. You met somebody in a bar.
Jarrod was no world champion when it came to drinking. He would tell you that he was, but he didn't really drink a lot, especially when he was out there. But we were drinking these huge big steins in this bar in Thailand. And so that was the first time we met, and we just sort of hit it off that way. And it just, he was playing in Asia at that stage, and I was caddying for a guy in Asia before I came back to the States. And so we sort of hit it off that night. And then when he came over to play here, he was playing on the web.com tour, and I was caddying for Trip Eisenhower. And we would go out for a little while, and, we'd have drinks and dinner and stuff like that. We didn't even talk about caddying. But Trip was having a horrible year, and he was never going to keep his card, and Jarrod basically had his card already locked up. So Trip basically got the job for me. He basically said, listen, you're going on the PGA Tour. You're going to need an experienced caddy. You're going to need someone who you like. And, hey, look, you're going to have 1,000 people asking you to I want to caddy for you. I want to caddy for you. I want to caddy for you. But Trip hadn't even finished the year off, and he was like, no, I'm going to get you, I'm going to have you work with Jarrod. And so we hit it off, and that's how it kicked off on the PGA Tour that way. And then, unfortunately, he got sick again, and he went through another bout, and I remember I was dating a girl up here in Atlanta, so I had flown up here, and he wasn't feeling good. So he went to hospital, and they basically said to him, look, there's every chance your cancer might be coming back. And he's by himself at this stage.
Okay.
And so he called me. He was in a bad way. And he's like, this is what they're telling me. So I just jumped on a plane and flew back to Orlando and hung out with him in hospital for a week, basically. Jarrod hated hospitals because obviously growing up, when he was 17, nearly dying from leukemia, he hated being in hospital. And he hated hospital food. So I literally sat with him for 12, 14 hours a day. I would buy him breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'd go out, buy him lunch, dinner, breakfast every day. And we just sat in the room for like 14 hours every day, just talking to him. And I haven't really told that story to too many people. Yeah. Then his dad flew over and stayed with him, and it turns out that wasn't what they thought it was. But then he flew back to Australia, and then unfortunately he was diagnosed again for the second time. So yeah.
So you were with him then during his second diagnosis.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then he was off the tour for a while, and so I ended up caddying for Greg Owen. That's how I ended up caddying for Greg Owen. But Jarrod and I were just great friends. I mean, he even said to me at one stage, because I had really nowhere to live when I was in the States, I was just traveling from tournament to tournament to tournament, and he was like, "Yeah, you might as well just come and live at my house in Orlando, Sperone Street. I'll never forget it. And it was a great little 3-bedroom, like an apartment townhouse that we had, and we would just go and hang out. We would just. Jason Day moved in across the street, when Jason first came over, and I don't think I've told you this story.
No.
When Jason Day first came over to the States, he came to Orlando. He lived across the street from me and Jarrod. So we would just go play mini golf. We would just go play putt-putt courses.
So 3
through
Aussies
Orlando.
living right across the street from each other.
2 pros playing on the PGA Tour and 1 caddy, and we would just go play mini golf and play all these like, you know, all those mini golf courses in Orlando, which like fountains and all this sort of crazy stuff. And I even remember one time we're just messing around, and Jarrod's hit he's putted one into the water. It's like this little water hazard. So he tries to take a full swing at this thing, and I swear to God, he hit this 150 yards. It went out of the putt place we're in. It went onto I-4, which is right next to us, stuff like this. And he's just like scorched this thing. It literally went 150. I actually told that story at his memorial service that, he scorched this thing out. But that's what we used to do. And so like, living at his place was just cool. We would just sort of hang out with just 2 Australians, and we would just sit there and watch TV, and then we'd go out, have a couple of beers, and, you know, we never cooked. We were just, the kitchen was just part of where we heated things and stuff like that. But it was a great relationship. We had a very, you know, a great relationship. And then when he passed away, and this is, he called me when he got it for the 3rd time. And I don't think it was leukemia that really killed him. It was all the treatments and stuff like that. Your body finally shuts down. And he called me 3 days before he died to say goodbye. Yeah, which was one of the hardest phone calls I've ever had to take. But it was also one of the best phone calls I've ever had to take, because it's not often you can actually, you know, have closure and say goodbye and stuff like that. And he was a great friend, and he said he'd have a beer waiting for me when he was ready and stuff like that. So, and so I was invited by his wife, Bri. Wonderful lady. And, you know, Jarrod had 2 wonderful daughters. And, and the thing about it, he was never supposed to have kids because all the chemo was...
Yeah, you've told that story.
Yeah, and he ended up with 2 beautiful daughters out of it and stuff like that. So that's a miracle in itself. And they're great kids. And, you know, they still hold... They do work for the foundation and Jarrod's foundation.
Yeah, so the foundation is the Challenge. Supporting kids with cancer.
Yep.
And now we're shooting this episode on November 1st. Mm-hmm. The challenge is really August through October.
Correct.
And it's pick a day, pick your mates, and go out and play. Doing it for Jarrod is what it's called. So you and I are we're going out today to play, but on November 25th, we're going to be playing in a charity golf classic for Pets for Vets.
Yep.
That's going to be our day.
Perfect. I'm in.
We're doing it for Jarrod on November 25th. We're going to be up at Eagle Watch in Woodstock, Georgia. We're going to challenge you guys to go out and play and let us know. Drop a note in the comments below which course you played and which mates you would out on the golf course. We're going to be doing it. It's hashtag doing it for Jarrod.
Yep.
You'll be able to catch all the links down in the bottom in our on our show page. We're going to also post this out on social. So post Instagram, X, TikTok, wherever else you post social videos these days. Facebook. I don't know.
Is MySpace still going?
I think my wife actually has our Facebook page.
Does she?
I don't pay attention to that. Yeah. I don't do a lot of social media.
I do a little bit, but yeah. But look, it's a wonderful foundation. It's a great cause. Dave Rogers, who runs it in Australia, who runs a challenge, great guy. He spoke at Jarrod's memorial service. I think there was 6 people spoke at the service, and I was lucky enough to be one of them. Yeah. When I flew back to Australia, and we had a great we had a great day there. And you know, one of the things that I got to do there, which was amazing, was on the day after the memorial service, there was a golf day, and I basically stood on the first tee, thanking everybody for coming, wearing Jarrod's one of the bibs I got for Jarrod. One of the caddy bibs, and with the Diet Coke, because it was his favourite thing. So I basically stood there all day and just thanked every group for coming in. And then I got to play in the last group, and I got to use his clubs.
Oh, wow.
But then I got to walk up the 18th by myself, just carrying his clubs with everybody standing by the back of the 18th. And a very emotional day for me, so still is.
Do you think about that often?
I do. There are times I do. Every now and again, I'll be flicking through my photos on my phone, and there it is. Someone took some great videos of me just walking up the last, and it was very emotional. I was bawling my eyes out. I was like a kid, you know. I was like, just completely crying my eyes out, and then just did what Jarrod would. Jarrod would have just laughed at me for being a sook.
Oh, he would be making fun of you.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, he used to call me the Fossil or Uncle Mick. So he'd be like, Fossil, what are you crying for, Fossil? Just get on with it. Just have a beer, move on. So, and I know his family very well, and Sally and John, and his brother Leighton, and Carly, his sister, and I know them well, and they all still reach out to me. and certain days, and just how you doing, just out of nowhere. So yeah, good people.
So so you were done caddying with him when he was diagnosed the third time.
Yeah.
He already left the tour at that point, correct?
He actually, he had a hole in one at the Waste Management on 16.
That doesn't surprise me.
Now, I wasn't caddying for him when he had the hole in one.
Well,
a good friend of mine.
There's no surprise there.
Exactly. But he also he had a really good finish. He had a good friend of mine caddying for him, Shannon. Well, Big Shannon.
Oh, Big Shannon.
Big Shannon was caddying for him.
Episodes 1 through 9, you'll hear about Big Shannon several times.
Yeah, I actually spoke to him last night on the phone. And then
we're gonna have Shannon on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The back nine is going to be littered with Mick's mates that have been out on the tour. That's, by the way, your homework assignment for the back nine.
I've got it. Don't worry.
You've got to get some guests lined up.
I will get some guests lined up. But yeah, he had Big Shannon caddying for him at I think it was Riviera.
Okay.
And he finished top 10 at Riviera.
Okay.
And that's when he got sick again.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty much his last tournament.
Okay.
And then that was it. He flew back to Australia, and that was it. But yeah, he went out on a high. I guess he had a good finish at Riviera.
I was going to say, not a bad place to finish out too.
No. Yeah, but
that's a bucket list course.
Well loved by all his buddies up there at Shepparton Golf Club, and the guys at Shepparton Golf Club who still reach out to me. Just fantastic guys. I played golf with them, and just a bunch of. It's country Victoria. It's like way up there. It's like the outback Victoria. Shepparton's a great town, but these guys at Shepparton Golf Club. I mean, his clubs are in glass up there at Shepparton Golf Club and stuff like that. It's just those guys are fantastic to play golf with. I may even get some of them on. We can get some of those boys on. There'd be very funny stories about Jarrod.
Oh, I'd love to get some guys from hometown back on and let them
Jarrod stories.
Jarrod
stories at the memorial service were quite classic. I mean, he threatened to. He threatened to sit naked as a ghost on the end of all their beds and stuff like that, and he said that was
how fitting the day after Halloween that we're recording this.
He said that's what he was going to do to all his mates back there. He was going to sit naked on the end of their beds, and of course at the memorial service, I said, "Well, he only threatened you with that. I lived with him. I actually had to see that occasionally." So.
Oh, jeez. Oh man. So, what? Okay, so most memorable moment with him.
When he told me that he was madly in love with his future wife.
Where were you guys at?
We were actually sitting on the couch at his house in Orlando, and he was like, Jarrod, when it come to dating, he was a 36 handicap. He was useless.
Not good.
Nah, he's about as useful as a wooden frying pan.
Wow. Okay.
And he had zero game when it comes to try to dating. And this is a guy who played in the PGA Tour. We could go out and have whatever, but yeah, he had zero game. Zero. Bri, his wife, will probably tell you the same thing. But he was
so in American terms, he outkicked his coverage.
Oh, way outkicked his coverage. She's a wonderful girl. She follows my football team back in Australia, don't you, Bri? Love you, Bri. And then. Yeah, he was just. He met her back when he was back in Shepparton, and then he, obviously flew back, and they were talking every day, and he was very smitten.
You've talked to her, obviously. How are the kids doing?
They're doing great.
Yeah,
they're doing great. Obviously, they miss their dad, and moments like that, and they were very young when he passed away. It was 6 years ago now. But yeah, they're doing great. Bride's doing fantastic. She works with the challenge and stuff like that. She still posts a bunch of things. When the Australian golf tournaments are on, which they are on now. They're always selling his merchandise and things like that, which I'll have some stuff for you. I actually have something in my car for you, from Jarrod's.
All right, so you answered one of my questions.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you. So my question was most memorable moment. I'm going to put a little asterisk to that. That's off the course. Most memorable moment on the golf course with him.
PGA Tour? Or
yes. Well, it doesn't matter. When you literally were carrying his bag, what is one of the most memorable moments while you were out out?
We were at Coolum in Australia for the Australian PGA, which was just it used to be a wonderful event. I mean, it used to be so much fun. It's basically up there and in Queensland, and the weather's beautiful. It's a bit like the weather here in the summer. It's beautiful. It's warm, but but it's like anything. Where they have these huge rainstorms come in. So we had a huge rainstorm come in. I think it was the Thursday. We only played 9. And so we had to be back at the course. We had to be back on the range at 4 a.m. because it's so light. It's so light there. Like it's 4 o'clock in the morning and it's just broad daylight. So we had to go out and play 27 holes. And he shot like 3 under for the second 9 of the first round, and then we shot 63. in the second round. So we're leading the tournament. I mean, he played, and he was young back then. He was really young back then. He shot lights out. And then just the sheer joy on his face. I mean, he never wore a glove. He kept it simple. He had leather grips on his clubs. And it was just, he made the game look simple that day. I mean, he really made the game look, and he could. He was a great putter. His iron play was phenomenal. And then, shooting 63 there. And then that's when I dropped my first F-bomb on TV. That was amazing.
Which, now there's a new story.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't. You
usually are really good without dropping.
Yeah,
I mean, that's always been my worry with you when we put you on air.
In a setup like this, I'm good. I don't worry about it. But
well, we got Leo to edit you on these, so that's all right.
Don't do this.
Leo's like, no, not today.
Nah, you're good, Leo. I'm not going to do it.
Sorry. So Leo's a part of the foursome.
On the 18th hole at Coolum on the next day, we played okay. I think we're still like second or third in the tournament, and it's a green that slopes pretty heavily from back to front. It's got a ridge on it, and we hit the shot, and it stayed up there for a second, and then it started to roll down the ridge, and I just dropped this huge F-bomb, like not realizing, we're in the last group on a Saturday with TV, and they got the guy holding the
You're in the moment. He's got
the microphone like sitting right there, and I dropped this as loud as you could do it. And as soon as I get off the golf course, my dad calls me, and he's like, "Oh, that was good." I'm like, what? The round? I said, the round wasn't great. He goes, no, you dropping the F-bomb on the last. I'm like, no, I didn't. He goes, oh, yeah, you did. And he goes, I know my son's voice. So then the guys at Channel 10, like all the commentators and stuff who I knew, Wayne Grady and things like that, they're like, yeah, good job, Mick. That was awesome. We had to drop a few apologies on that one for you.
There you go.
Yeah, so that was one.
They didn't have the mute button ready to go.
No, that's one of two that I've done on the Australian. Both times on the Australian tour. So.
Well, there you go. 2-0 out of the Australian tour.
The US tour, none. Never swore on the well, probably. But
I was going to say maybe not caught by by a microphone.
Actually, I think I was caddying for Greg Owen, and I can't remember who was in the group with us, but we had a bet that I could go 18 holes without swearing at any stage during the tournament, like talking, all that. And I think I got to the 13th before I failed.
Wow,
it's never happened.
I would have taken the under on that.
Yeah, it's never happened.
You couldn't make it. So how many? Okay, so we're getting ready to go out. How many today?
Oh, one probably. This is a different setting. Although unless Leo's out there recording us.
We are.
So then,
sorry, I'm going to have to tell you this. You're going to have a microphone on you today while we're out there because we're going to do some stuff for social media, which you know how much I love. Yeah, we'll be.
I could tell you some great swearing stories on the tour. There's some guys out there who just like cut it up.
We'll do that. We're gonna.
There was a guy by the name of Mike Clayton who played in Australia. I don't think you've ever seen the footage of a guy who goes to putt, then he throws his putter in the air, and then he tries to catch and he falls down on the green. The ball hits him, the putter hits him, and stuff like that. If you ever look at it, look up Mike Clayton. Hilarious. That guy could swear more than any human being on the planet.
Okay.
On the planet.
Well, let's save those stories for another episode because you know.
Just like to lead in.
Well, that's a tease. We call that a tease in the business.
Oh, okay.
Anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right. So, guys, remember, go to supporting kids with cancer challenge. It's fundraise.challenge.org. Check it out. We'll have the link in our YouTube page and also out on socials. Challenge yourself, grab some mates, get out there, go play a round for Jarrod. We're going to do it on November the 25th.
Yellow is the color.
Yellow
is the color. If you wear a yellow shirt or something like that, that wouldn't impress me. That'd be wonderful.
I know this wasn't easy for you today.
It's got a little easier.
Yeah.
If I'd have done this 2 years ago, it might have been a bit tough. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I actually went through it last night, looked at some stuff on it last night, which is never good when you've had a few drinks, by the way. So it just makes it even worse.
Well, it helps you also remember some of the things that really are deep down inside that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stories you can't tell here too, so it's good.
Right.
They're the good ones I remember.
We'll save those for
the uncut version.
Yeah, we're not on a camera with a microphone. Thanks for teeing it up with us. Follow us on Instagram, X, Facebook, YouTube, and wherever else you find social media. Check us out for new episodes and content. We hope your drives are straight, your putts are short, and your scores are low as we tee it up next time on Tales from the Tips.
Bye, guys.